Usually at this point, there's a little bit of music intro, but right now, I don't have no music intro. I am going totally raw. What's up, everybody? This is your boy Quaz. Welcome to a brand spanking new episode of the Quazemoto Show. It's been a long time since I did a fucking podcast. I think it was late February. I did a podcast with D. That was way back when, and we were like it was like March. It was around March Madness because we were talking about the NCAA tournament. But still, long freaking time, man. And lots happened since then, both personally and in the world of sports, politics, entertainment, you name it. Your boy got a job. I got back into the IT field and happy to be back in the IT field. Making good cheddar, a lot more than what I was making at my other silly gig. Not a silly gig, because, if my old boss is listening to this, he'd be like, what the fuck? Silly gig? What? No. But yeah, got a new job, and D's not here tonight, as you know. I would have introduced him by now. D's probably sleeping. D got a new job, and this was very recently. D is now an Uber driver. D got, he hooked up with Uber, got a car, and he's been driving nonstop with Uber. Matter of fact, he called me this morning, and he was mad. He was like, "Some motherfucker just stole the rear view mirror off my brand new car," and he was hot. I mean, he was yelling through the phone hot, and I tried to call him just a few minutes ago before I started this podcast, but he's sleeping, I know he's busy, he's doing his thing, but that's cool. I just wanted to get a fucking show done, man, because I kept telling myself almost every single day, every week, all right, this week, today, I'm going to do it. And then D was like, yeah, man, call me, we're going to do a show, yeah, man. And never happened, man. Your boy's working. Your boy's going to school. Your boy's got a life. Just got a lot of shit to do. And I try and make time to do the show. But by the time I sit down, it's fucking late and I get tired. And I'm like, fuck, I got to be up in the morning. Got to get to work. Blah, 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 blah. But no more excuses. Here's a show. Hopefully you guys will listen, you'll like it, you'll love it, like it on Facebook or whatnot. But happy to be doing a show. Right now I'm watching Toronto. No, the T is silent in Toronto. You might know that? Yeah, you ever go to Toronto, everyone in Toronto will say, welcome to Toronto. No T. Or second T. Second T is silent. I'm watching Toronto Raptors get blown out right now by the Cleveland Cavaliers. I was hoping Toronto might put up a better fight, but it's a rout. It's like late third quarter, and they're just getting blown away, I watched the two games in Toronto, and I had hopes, because Cleveland just didn't even show up for those two games. But I guess home field goes a long way. But that's not the case in the Western Conference Finals, where the suddenly very good Oklahoma Thunder are just beating everybody. They beat the Spurs, which is a pretty good team, and now they got a 3-1 lead against the best team in the NBA, in the Golden State Warriors. A lot of people will say, well, Steph Curry, he's injured, blah, 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 blah. But what about the other guys? It's not Steph Curry by himself. There's other guys, on the Warriors that need to step up. Iguodala and whatnot. So no excuses. And a funny question was raised: if the Warriors, hold on. Oh man. Oh, it's that time of season, man. Allergies. I just got back from the store. Even though the weather is splendid right now, allergies, man, they kick your ass. Anyways, the question that's being raised, like if Warriors, if they lose this series against the Thunder, which it seems like, or even if they advance to the finals, will they and lose in the finals? Will anyone give them any type of credit for the regular season? I say no, because you got to win it all. The 72-10 Bulls, they had at that time had the best regular season record, and they went on to win the championship that year in 97, 98, or was it 96, 97? One of those years. Regular season doesn't mean shit if you can't win the championship. Look at the Patriots when they went undefeated in the regular season. They lost that Super Bowl, and now no one cares about that 18-1 Patriots team. They'll say, yeah, they were very good, but they didn't win the championship. If they had won the championship, greatest team of all time. Hands down, no argument. Same thing for Golden State. If they can't finish the deal, if they can't win another championship, then the regular season record that they broke isn't going to mean shit. Be like, okay, great. You did great in the regular season, but that doesn't count for anything in the playoffs. And right now, Thunder are just beating the crap out of them, And these games aren't even close, be it if Golden State wins or if the Thunder win. These games ain't even close, They're over by like the second quarter. So that's my NBA recap. Who do I want to win? Well, I'll tell you who I don't want to win. I don't want Cleveland Cavaliers. I don't want LeBron to win. I just don't like LeBron James. Everyone knows this. Everyone who's been listening to this show knows I don't like LeBron for whatever. He's fake. He's a fake to me, He says one thing and does something totally different, And don't be surprised if, Cleveland doesn't win this year. LeBron's bye-bye. He'll be looking elsewhere. He'll be looking at New York. He'll be looking to go wherever Kevin Durant's going to go and create another super team. Kevin Durant and one other guy. Because when the going gets tough, LeBron gets going. That's the MO on him. A lot of people were saying in the two Toronto losses, LeBron James disappeared in the fourth quarter, the last 5 minutes, where he just gave up. He saw the situation was hopeless, so he was just, running through the court, running through the motions, going up the court, going down the court, inbounding. The final play of Game 4, where Toronto just blown him out. I mean, the other Cavaliers were trying. LeBron wasn't. He was inbounding the ball on the last play. If you are the guy on your team and in the league, you don't inbound the ball. What the fuck are you doing? You want to take the last shot. Even if you're getting blown out, you want to take the last shot. And that's my take on LeBron. He's a fake and he's a quitter. Watch him quit as soon as the going gets tough, And he'll probably blame someone like Tyronn Lue. This is Tyron's fault. Last time it was David Blatt's fault. This time it's Tyron's fault. He'll find someone to blame. Anyone except himself. But I did watch that 30 for 30 Believe Land. The city documentary on the city of Cleveland and how they just can't catch a break for any of their sports teams. It was a great documentary. I don't really care for Cleveland or any of their sports teams, pro sports. I don't even think. What's the big college nearby? I mean, they really have Ohio State, and that's it. Anyways, the best part of the documentaries were when they were going over the Cleveland Browns. when the Browns, they lost to John Elway and the Denver Broncos. 86, it was the fumble, and 86, it was the drive that John Elway led. 87, it was the fumble by Ernest Biner. Those were great. That was the great part. Just because I remember watching both of those games. I was a big Denver Broncos fan back in the day. Well, let's say this. I was a big John Elway fan back in the day. I grew up watching John Elway. Loved that dude. I think still one of the best quarterbacks ever. And I remember watching the drive. And I was watching with my boy Vishal when we were like 5th, 6th grade. And we were just cheering our asses off because like we were both Denver fans, and we were like, "Yeah, Denver's winning. We're gonna go to the Super Bowl," And when the drive happened, we were going ballistic. And then next year, I was watching the game solo, and I was just like, fourth quarter, fuck, Cleveland's gonna win this. Cleveland's gonna win this. They can't stop Ernest Biner. They're gonna win this. And then last play, Biner's like, 7 yards away from the goal line, clear path. And I can't remember the Denver defender. It was a free safety. I can't remember his name, but he just stuck his big paw into Ernest Biner's gut and knocked that ball loose. Game over. And then it goes down in Denver and Cleveland and NFL lore as the fumble. Oh, man. It would have been great if Denver just could have won one of those Super Bowls. They lost to the Giants in 86, and then they lost to fucking Redskins, 87. Yeah, those were some tough times for me, because I had to suffer through 3 heartbreaking Super Bowl losses. The third one was against the Niners, that John Elway had to go through. The third one wasn't even close. None of them were close. They were all blowouts, But I would have liked to have seen John Elway just win one of those. But it was a great, 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 great redemption when he did win it, about almost like a decade later. 96 season, Denver beats Green Bay, and then a year later they repeat and beat the Falcons. Those were good games. Those were good years. Anyways, check out the documentary Believe Land. It was great. I loved it. Worth watching, Other shit that I kind of watched I would recommend. I don't know. Did I talk about the Dennis Rodman documentary? I think D and we talked about it a little bit. There's a documentary documenting Dennis Rodman and his trips to North Korea. To first just trips to go hang out with the president Kim Jong-un, and then later he assembled a group of NBA players to play an exhibition game in North Korea. It was a great documentary because it just gave you a lot of insight both in Dennis, North Korea, Kim Jong-un, and then what the whole deal was with that game. Because when we were just witnessing it as as it was happening, we were just thinking, what the fuck's going on here? What's Dennis doing in North Korea, hanging out with the enemy, and then he's assembling a basketball team to play an exhibition game. It gives you a lot of behind the scene nuggets, which I enjoyed, and a little bit more insight. North Korea, it is what it is. It's a communist state. What they do, to their people, and then to the nation itself, putting out scare tactics just to get money from everybody, is a lot of bullshit, and I don't agree with it. But it is what it is. North Korea is just a poor country, that was founded on communist beliefs, and it's not a winning strategy. But Dennis Rodman, the funniest parts were when Dennis would get drunk, and that's almost every time. He would show up drunk at the game, at the practices. He'd show up drunk, hanging out with the president. He'd be slurring at dinners. And he would do impromptu karaoke and then speeches and whatnot. And he would just be babbling, babbling. It's fun to watch. It is fun to watch. But it also gives you insight, Dennis Rodman is still, very recognizable in pop culture. Because, they were just showing him, it was just, they were just documenting him going, from airport, plane landing, and him into a cab. He would just be walking, and just people would just walk up to him and say, "Hey, Dennis Rodman, can I get a picture?" can I get a picture? Can I get a picture? Can I get a picture? And I was a little jelly on that, because because like there'd be some hot ass chicks that would just stop him, and if Dennis wanted to, he'd be banging those chicks that night. Chicks would just like stand, just like, oh, I want to get a picture of you, want to get a picture of you, and whatnot, So little jelly on that, but I'm gonna get there one day. I know I'm gonna get to that level. Well, I'll be walking down the airport. We'll be like, hey, Quaz, let me get a picture. I'm like, all right, come here. Let me grab your ass. Oh man, but I digress. Um, I watched a whole bunch of movies. I watched Batman versus Superman. I thought it was really good. Storyline could have been better. Action sequences were pretty good. But I got spoiled with the Christopher Nolan and the Nolan brothers Batman movies, The Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises, and even Batman Begins. Because I thought maybe they would have picked up on where Christopher Nolan had left off the Batman character, but they just did a total change. The most visible was Ben Affleck playing Batman. He did a decent job, but you can just tell when you go from like one director to another. Like when you go from Tim Burton to someone totally different, you see it's a whole different feel to it. And when you go from Christopher Nolan to the guy that directed the Superman movies, you feel it. And they pretty much picked off where Superman, where Man of Steel left off, and they just kind of inserted a Batman storyline to it so they can have a big Batman and Superman fight. Now, I always thought, if you have a Batman and Superman fight, how's Batman going to win if he doesn't have kryptonite? Superman would just beat the shit out of Batman if there was no kryptonite. And that was like the whole thing. Batman had some kryptonite grenades, kryptonite spears, and whatnot, and he would just like stab Superman with the kryptonite to make the fight even. But I think that's the unfair fight, because Superman, he's a Man of Steel. He has all the superpowers you can imagine. He has the Flash's superpower. He's super strong. He can fly. He can do all this shit. So you can't beat Superman unless you have kryptonite. You can't. And then they threw in Wonder Woman. The chick that played Wonder Woman was the same chick that was in those Fast and Furious movies, that really hot chick. Yeah, which one, right? It was the Brazilian one. But, actually she's Jewish, by birth. She's a Jewish chick. Yeah, can you believe that? Actually, actual hot Jewish chick. Yeah, there are some. But yeah, she came in as a Wonder Woman, and kind of like the knock on Batman vs Superman was like they're trying to do too much, because like the title of the movie was Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice, the Justice League. So within the movie frame, they try to throw in, the sequel to Superman, and then they try to bring in the storyline of Batman vs Superman. And then they throw in this sort of storyline of Wonder Woman, and then Dawn of Justice, where they give little nuggets of the Flash and Aquaman, Cyborg, and all those guys, because they know those are coming. And then they also throw in Doomsday in there at the end. I don't, if you guys haven't seen it, too fucking bad. You should have watched it by now, right? They threw Doomsday in there at the last minute. So a lot of shit going on, lot to digest for the person watching the movie and trying to keep up with everything, and I still liked it. I recommend it. Go watch it. The other movie I watched was Jack, Leonardo DiCaprio, his movie where he won the Oscar, The Revenant. It is a good movie, but I think the way the director shot it, you're taking these great, amazing shots, action sequences with the moving camera, and you're spinning 360 degrees. Like, it gets old after a while. It's great that you came up with this one concept, but how about changing it up a bit? every fucking action sequence, he's got like the same 360-degree, one still camera, one long shot and whatnot. I'm like, oh, okay, that's a little dizzying and crazy. Tom Hardy, he's like one of my new favorite actors. He did a great job as like the antagonist in the movie to Leonardo DiCaprio's hero. Great movie. Go check it out. Leo did a great job, and he was just due for an Oscar, because he whined so fucking much. Oh, you didn't nominate me. You didn't nominate me, so I'm gonna boycott the Oscars. They finally nominated him and gave it to him. Right? And shut the fuck up. Stop crying. Right? Oh man. I watched this documentary on the WWE network. It was about the Randy Macho Man Savage. Oh yeah, Macho Man, Randy Savage, dig it, yeah, taking over. Oh yeah. It was a great fucking documentary. If all you wrestling fans who like old school wrestlings, wrestling, WWF and NWA, AWA, and even Mid-South wrestling in Memphis back in the day, watch this Macho Man Savage documentary. Really good. They gave a lot of good nuggets in there too. Like from Angelo Poffo, Randy's father. They did a little bit on his history. They had Lanny Poffo, Randy's brother. If you remember the Poffo brothers down in Mid-South with Jerry Lawler back in the day before Randy went to WWE. I remember those days. And then Randy Savage, of course, when he went to WWE, he blew up. He was like the guy, second to the Hulkster as the top talent. And then, during the WrestleMania 4, he beat Hogan, and then, or he lost to WrestleMania 3 was where he had that classic match against Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. It still goes down in a lot of wrestling, enthusiast minds as the greatest wrestling match in history. And then WrestleMania 4, he beat Hogan for the title, or no, he won like a tournament. He beat like DiBiase or someone for the title. And then WrestleMania 5, he lost to Hogan. And that's, along the way they had that whole Mega Powers storyline going on. And that was like one of some of the best some of the best one of the best storyline, I should say, when they had the Mega Powers. Because like when the Mega Powers formed, Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage, everyone was going, who's gonna beat these guys? No one can beat Hogan and Savage as a tag team. Turns out they beat each other up because of the X Factor, Miss Elizabeth. Hogan. The storyline was like Randy Savage was always jealous of other people, casting an eye towards Miss Elizabeth, and then Savage got it in his crazy head that Hogan was going after Miss Elizabeth behind his back, and it all blew up in all three of their faces in one of the best segments. It happened like during NBC's Saturday night main event. Miss Elizabeth got knocked down. Savage knocked into her. Hogan carries her in his arms to the back. Get a doctor in here. And then Savage is like, what the fuck is going on, Hogan? I'm improvising, right? But in the backstage, Elizabeth's on a stretcher. Hogan's like, bent over on her. And like, Hogan in the documentary said like, there was some real animosity there because Savage thought that, Hogan's hand or forearm was like right over Miss Elizabeth's tits and whatnot, and Randy got real salty over that. And when it was live, and like Savage was really hot, and he was like going off, and I was like, oh yeah, Hogan, you got the evil eye, brother, you got the evil eye, for me, and you got eye for Miss Elizabeth. It was just raw shit. And then Savage turns on Hogan, starts beating the crap out of Hogan. That was some of the best wrestling I'd seen, Those, like I said, those were the golden days of wrestling, where, you'd have, WWF as peak. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the Monday Night Wars, in the late 90s. But also, I'm a wrestling fan of even back in the days, the Hulk Hogan days, the Ric Flair days and Dusty Rhodes days, Starrcade and NWA. Even the Von Erichs from back in the day. That was always some good shit, man. Definitely, I recommend checking out the Randy Savage documentary. You can find it on the WWE Network. Got a couple of emails that I wanted to share with you guys, and this might be from a while back, but I always thought, this would be great for the show if I ever did a show. One question was, this came from Frank. Frank in, where the fuck is Frank from? East Lansing, Michigan? Okay. Frank from East Lansing, Michigan. Thank you for listening, Frank in East Lansing. Hey, quick nugget. Do you know East Lansing is the home of Malcolm X, better known as Malcolm Little? It's a true story. Yeah, true. Malcolm X was born in East Lansing, Michigan. Frank writes or asks, would Metallica have been a better band if Dave Mustaine was still in it? That is a great question. And, Frank, who obviously listens to the show, knows I'm a big Metallica fan. And for those not familiar with Metallica, or, just started listening to Metallica like yesterday, might not know that before Kirk Hammett was the lead guitarist of Metallica, it was Dave Mustaine, lead singer from Megadeth. Dave Mustaine was a member of Metallica. Wasn't an original member. They had another guitarist before Dave Mustaine took over, and that guitarist, he just got fed up with James Hetfield and his drama, so he quit. And then they brought in Dave Mustaine. Mustaine was really good. If you listen to a lot of the earlier Metallica tracks with Dave Mustaine on it, he was really good. Would he been as good or better than Kirk Hammett, who's the current guitarist for Metallica? I don't know. Big fan of both. I think the better guitarist, I'd give it to Dave Mustaine. He's just got that raw talent as a guitarist. Kirk Hammett's, he's outstanding. But Dave Mustaine just has a different style, and I think he's better suited. Just being on his own with his own band that he formed with Megadeth. I think Kirk Hammett was a great fit for Metallica, and he's done a kick-ass job ever since then. I'm a huge Metallica fan. Would I have preferred Dave Mustaine in Metallica forever? No. I mean, don't get me wrong, it would have been great, but I think Kirk Hammett's the better fit for the band. Quick little side note: if anyone ever watched the Sonosphere Festival with the Big Five in it, Big Four, Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, and Anthrax. After Metallica finished their set, a lot of the members from Megadeth, Anthrax, Metallica. I don't think Slayer was there. I don't recall. I think maybe one or two guys from Slayer was on there, but they all came on stage for an encore, and they all did. They did "Am I Evil?" It was just great watching it, just to see all those band members all on one stage. You had Dave Mustaine, James Hetfield, Lars Ulrich, Kirk Hammett. A lot of the guys from Anthrax, all of them were all on one stage just singing that one song. It was great. I loved it. If anyone can ever catch they show that Sonosphere Festival on VH1 Classics all the time. Check it out. It's really good shit. Another email comes in from, I don't know, who is this? Ton from Maryland. Ton's close by. Ton, Ton. And he writes, "Hey Quaz, I was waiting in line at the doctor's office the other day, and another person came in after me and got to be seen by the doctor before me. Doesn't that just piss you off every time?" Ton, absolutely. That pisses me off every single time. I come into the whatever office, dentist, doctor's office. I come in, I get checked in, I'm sitting there, and then shithead comes behind me. He sits there. Another shithead comes in behind me. She sits there. Another shithead comes behind me, and they're sitting there. And then all three of these shitheads get seen before me. That pisses me the fuck off, you know? That pisses me the fuck off just as much as, you know, I'm going through the drive-thru in McDonald's, and the person ordering cannot decide what to order. They're treating this drive-thru experience with McDonald's, which should be order your food, pay for it, get your food, get the fuck out, right? Kind of like Ice Cube, you know, did in his one song. I'm gonna improvise a little bit. Motherfucker, order your food. Motherfucker, leave it in the car. Motherfucker, get out. Cause I'm in McDonald's all the time. You know, that's my go-to. Some people, they treat it like it's a dine-out experience. Oh, look at everything they have on the menu. They serve it breakfast now. Oh shit. You know, they're like, oh, let me get this. Oh, and they'll ask the people at McDonald's, how is the smoothie? You know, what comes on the quarter pounder? You know, I don't wanna single out. You know, I'm doing my black voice. I don't want to single out like black people do this. Everyone does this. You know, and it pisses me the fuck off to the point where like I want to beep their horn and start yelling at them. You know, but I can't. You know, we're in a civilized society. I'm too much of a chicken to do that. But waiting in line is as painful as getting teeth pulled. I hate it, and nothing pisses me off more than getting my waiting in line extended. You know, be it knuckleheads that can't decide what to order at the McDonald's drive-thru, or at the doctor's office. Everyone goes and sees a doctor before me. I hate that shit. I just want to choke someone. But I do like cute receptionists at the office, at the doctor's office. I was at the dentist not too long ago, and there was two cuties. Middle-aged. You know, I think both married. But nothing wrong with just saying hi, hello, a little flirt and whatnot. Always good. Always good. Nothing wrong with that. Doesn't hurt anybody. Fuck. It looks like Donald Trump is going to get the Republican presidential nomination, and I don't know how to feel about that. I don't know if that's good or bad. Hillary looks like she will wrap up the Democratic presidential nomination once California votes. Bernie Sanders is still hanging in there. But it's pretty much a lock right now that Hillary will win. And Trump's already going on the offensive, attacking Hillary on a personal level. Attacking her for how she, how she reacted or handled Bill Clinton's cheating. The whole Monica Lewinsky thing, and even before that, Trump he knows his bread and butter. He's going to hit you in the nuts. And he's going to hit Hillary in the nuts too. That's what he did in the Republican primaries, or the Republican race. That's what he's going to do in the presidential race. He's going to play dirty. How Hillary will respond and what her strategy will be is tough to say. If she decides to play lowball, she might lose, because that's Trump's strategy. She needs to go and attack Trump on his credentials, his qualifications for being president. Because right now Trump has no qualifications. All he is a name, and that's what a lot of people are going. Oh, I'm gonna vote for that guy because he's the one on The Apprentice. That's how people are making their decision to vote. He was on The Apprentice. I'm gonna vote for him. Oh, you're fired, right? That's the guy. He was. You're fired. Oh, I'm voting for him. Sad to say, that's what, most of the voting population is going to decide. But if Hillary plays it right, and the Republicans right now, they do have the votes. They got the minorities, they got the women, and pretty much, if they can get a couple of key battle states, they'll be all right. They will be all right. that's it. Maybe next time I am going to get D on here, but I know I said this before and I'm hitting myself over the head, but I am definitely going to try and do this at least on a weekly basis. I do got finals coming up. I gotta write one of my papers for school, and I got doing an exam right now as we speak. But I want to do this on a weekly basis. Just try and get it on a regular deal. Try and go big time. That's my goal. Go big time. Get a couple of my books published. Get my scripts made into movies. Get D to ride shotgun with me. It'll be all good. Anyways, I thank everybody for listening. Please keep your emails coming. Listen to me on YouTube. Listen to me on Facebook. Like it. Follow me on Twitter. And you guys know the deal. This is your boy Quaz. This is latest and greatest new episode of the Quazemoto Show. And I do thank everybody for listening. Until next time, people. Peace.